Stoic's The Banner Saga is a gorgeous tactical RPG with an art style reminiscent of a hand-drawn Disney cartoon. This art style is a big part of the draw for this game, and it's on full display both in combat and out. But what about the game itself? The Banner Saga is primarily divided up into two sections, the caravan and the battlefield. If you're familiar with it, the caravan is very similar to the game The Oregon Trail. A good chunk of time is spent watching your caravan move along the 2D map while experiencing random encounters. And in nearly all of these random encounters, the player is required to make a choice of some kind, and these choices have consequences. Sometimes new members will join your caravan, sometimes current members will die. You'll also discover supplies and other treasures as you travel along. It is important to remember, however, that all of these encounters are text-based. There is no voice acting of any kind, so everything has to be read. That isn't necessarily a bad thing if you enjoy it, just be prepared for a very text-heavy portion of the game. The other purpose of the caravan is to serve as your home base. This is the place where you upgrade your character's stats, where you buy new equipment and supplies, and also where you can train and organize your units. Now, while on the trail with your caravan, you're going to encounter the other half of the game, the battles. The battles take place on a fairly typical tactical RPG style battlefield, where the entire area is sectioned off into a checkerboard style layout. Your units take turns with the other team moving and either attacking or using special abilities. These abilities include things like laying traps or swinging wildly to hit more than one opponent at the same time. The abilities all feel fairly typical, but what's unique about the Banner Saga is the way that the regular attacks work. The amount of health or strength that each character has determines how much damage they're able to do, so that if a character does take damage, they're able to dish out less damage in the following turns. This creates an interesting and surprisingly deep dynamic. Every character has a choice between damaging their opponent's strength and therefore their health, or they can attack the armor directly. When they attack the armor directly, they set up the opponent to have more damage dealt to them in subsequent turns. Because the abilities do a fairly good job differentiating themselves from each other, and because of the unique way in which armor, health, and strength are related in this game, it makes for a very fun experience. The only big problem with the Banner Saga isn't the combat itself, but rather how repetitive all of the battles start to feel. After a few hours and 10 or 15 battles with the enemy, everything starts to blur together. All of the plot-related enemies and battlefields feel unique and different, but all of the random encounters feel very much the same, and you'll see a lot of the same enemies repeating, even in some of the same patterns. Again, this isn't necessarily something that's going to be bad for everyone, it's just something that started to wear on me after a few hours. If you already know you love tactical RPGs and you have no problem reading the text-heavy plot, then the Banner Saga is going to be a great game for you. If you're on the fence about it though, I recommend trying out the Banner Saga Factions, the free multiplayer version of the game. Because if you enjoy the look of the combat but you don't necessarily want to spend the full price of the game, the free version might be an excellent substitute.